Hey there, everybody. Franklin Taggart here. It is time for another virtual coffee break. Here's my coffee. Grab your beverage and let's chat for a minute. I've been taking some advice from Robbie Samuels, who in the book Small List, Big Results, talked about a structure that he uses for his project time, in that he plans on doing like 3 major projects a year. Could be a book, could be a course, could be a new offer of some kind. But in between, he takes like 3 months to do a project, and then in between, he takes a month off. And I have been doing that, and I have to tell you that the first week or so that I was not working on a specific project, I felt a little bit out of sorts, because I'd gotten so used to being in that level of focus that I wasn't quite sure what to do with that time. But ultimately what came out of that is that it's been really good time for reflection, looking back, evaluating the things that I've done. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about some of the insights that I've gained in that reflection time. So, to start with, one of the things that I've been really looking at this year is identifying the activities for me that generate the most favorable results. And also, at the same time, looking at those activities that don't generate the results that I had hoped for or that I want. And it's been a real eye-opening experience. I think one of the things that I am starting to see is that I want to spend my time wisely. I don't want to just spend my time making things. I want to spend my time making things that are actually going to make a difference for people. And the hard part is knowing for sure whether or not that's going to happen. One of the things that Robbie talks about in his book, and I've heard a lot of other people talk about it, is how to engage with people throughout the creation process of, getting feedback from them about, what they're looking for, and if the product that I'm creating is going to be, the product that they need. So I've been working on setting up some feedback loops for things like that. That has not been easy for me. A big part of it is that, getting feedback and integrating feedback takes a lot of time. And I was looking for ways that I could get things done more quickly. And one of the ways that I was getting things done more quickly was that I wasn't asking for feedback. I wasn't asking for, editing and proofreading, and I wasn't asking for, much help along the way. And looking at my products now, I think that they're good products, but they're not great products. And so one of the things that I'm looking at now is, how can I go ahead and build that feedback mechanism into what I do so that my products are great instead of just good? And that is one of the things that I'm looking at. How can I create a network of people who I can rely on for, honest, useful, practical feedback for the things that I am putting together for people to benefit from? Well, I didn't have to go far, and I didn't have to actually look very much outside of my own experience, because there have been several big projects in my life where I've actually hired people to coordinate projects for me so that I could spend my time on the creative aspects of it, and they could put together the package. In the music world, it's called a producer. And in the theater world, both the producer and the director are the ones they're calling the shots, and they're putting together the package, and that frees up the people who are actually doing the acting to focus on their job. And so I've been looking at, what would it look like for me to have a producer on board for some of the things that I do. And I haven't landed on an answer for that yet. And what's really funny to me is that I've been a producer for many other people, both in musical projects and in courses and in marketing programs and in, all kinds of other capacities. But I've never actually hired someone to do the same thing for me. And what I'm finding is that, quite honestly, is that I'm not immune to the need for that kind of help, which has been kind of an eye-opening experience. So I've been talking to some of my friends who are involved in different kinds of course production, and they're helping me with that. I've been talking to a couple of mentors who are doing the video production, and they're helping out with that. And I've just been looking at how can I get better results working less? How can I get better results focusing on only the activities that really generate the results that I want? And how can I let go of the rest? Well, I'm finding that that's not all that difficult. So that inventory has been a helpful thing, figuring things out like, it takes me about 30 minutes usually to create one of these videos, and I release it both as a video and a podcast and as a blog. It takes about 30 minutes to create that. So on average, I'm spending about 3 hours a week doing coffee break videos. I spend about another 3 hours a week doing the full episode videos for Friday. And I've streamlined those processes about as much as I'm going to. The only other thing that I could do if I wanted to is to hire somebody to come in and do the editing and the packaging and the things like that. I'm actually more inclined to spend my money in other ways. For courses, though, the thing that I've been looking at is that I'm really good at doing the course outline and creating the course materials. But when it comes to the final editing and packaging of the course, that's the most time consuming. And that is something that I would be willing to hire out. So I called up my good friend, videographer, and said, listen, I'm going to send you the raw footage. I'm going to send you all of the components. And I need you to just put it together in nice, beautifully edited clips. And we worked out a great deal. And that's going to be one thing off of my plate so that I can concentrate on the activity that I feel is giving me the best return. Spending all of that time in editing my courses hasn't been, I don't think that it's been the best way for me to spend my time. So figuring these kinds of things out as I go has always been a part of my strategy. And again, I was looking back at the workshop that Jess Kotzer did the other day on automation, and I've integrated a bunch of automation into my process, but there's still more that I can do, and that automation just is another thing that once it's in place, the time that is freed by that is significant, and it allows me to spend it on probably bigger priorities than the production is. As a business owner, I've always enjoyed production, but it's also one of those activities that is very time consuming, and I need to be spending my time building my business, and production hasn't been doing that. So now is a shift in priorities. that reflection time that I got from Robbie's suggestion of taking that month off in between the production, the project production, has been very, very fruitful for me and beneficial. And I would encourage you to think about integrating that into your routine as well. Work on one big project at a time, get your project finished, and then take some time to step back, really reflect on, what's most important, what needs to be done next. And then you're going to have some reserves to throw yourself into the next project with. So those are my thoughts for today on this beautiful Sunday. I hope whatever day it is or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, is wonderful right now. Thank you, as always, for spending your time and your attention here with me. And I'll be back again tomorrow with yet another coffee break. So long.